Namaskar. Hello, friends. Three pillars of spiritual living. There are three pillars of engaging in karma in a spiritual way: charity, yadnya, that is, living life as if it is a fire ritual offering to the Creator, and third is penance, that is, using mind, body, and speech in God consciousness. These three karmas should never be discarded. They purify the mind of the performer, making him eligible for self realization. Charity. Charity is one of the attributes of divine wealth. The real charity is that where we give what we want to with all our heart, body, and mind, even to our enemy who may be in trouble. A tree does not hold back anything from a passerby. None of its flowers, fruits, shade, roots, leaves, nothing. Likewise, charity is giving to a needy anything, right from our mind to our wealth, and satisfying him. Such charity is a means to acquire the treasure of moksha, that is, liberation. The charity that is done with the thinking that it is one's duty and is given in a holy place at an auspicious time to a deserving person and to one who will not reciprocate that charity is called sattvic charity. The charity done with the objective of getting something in return or with a desire for some fruit and given unwillingly is called rajasic charity. The charity that is done disrespectfully, in an insulting manner, and without regard to the right place, without regard to auspicious time, or without regard to deservingness of the receiver, is called tamasic charity. Charity should be done when one is still healthy and earning. It should not be postponed to a later stage in life just because one needs all the money for himself and his family. When one becomes old, he is likely to be financially dependent on his children or may have inadequate financial resources for himself and his wife. In such a situation, charity would be much more difficult. The best type of charity is the sattvic one. The most important aspect of sattvic charity is that it is done without expecting anything in return. It is done as one's duty, which means that one should not get doubts like, what is the use if I alone do this charity? Will it change the situation which is too big to be impacted by a single individual? Sattvic charity is done for its own sake. One should also not carry any pride for having done that charity. Let's look at the second pillar, namely Yadnya, or fire rituals. Yadnya in the context of modern times should be interpreted not as the ritualistic fire offerings as described in the Vedas, but as duties in life. Acting in accordance with one's own swadharma is the daily yadnya, and acting in that manner keeps one free of sins. It frees such a person from negatives like kama, which is desire or lust, krodh, which is anger, etc. It also ultimately leads the person to non-duality. When beings discard swadharma and get induced to indulge in bad actions, they get trapped in the repeated cycle of birth and death. So consider that acting in accordance with swadharma is a perpetual yajna, and one who performs this yajna does not get bound by anything at all. All this world is bound to karma and is trapped in the maya, that is delusion, only because it gave a go-by to action in accordance with swadharma. Performing swadharma is the only yadnya for seekers. A seeker should live his life as if it is a yadnya for the Creator, accepting as prasada, that is food offered to deity and then distributed among devotees, as a prasada from the Creator, whatever experiences come his way. In other words, life should not be regarded as being primarily for the benefit of the limited body and ego, but rather as a part of the big picture of creation. There are three types of yadnya. A yadnya performed with great determination and purely out of a sense of duty by following the scriptural injunctions by those people who do not harbor any desire for fruit is called sattvic yadnya. A yadnya performed with some fruit in mind and for showing off one's greatness is called rajasic yadnya. A yadnya performed without following the scriptural injunctions, without feeding people, without giving dakshina, that is cash or articles presented to priests, and without faith is called tamas yadnya. So, in the context of modern times, sattvic yadnya should be karmas performed without sense of doership and without any desire for fruit thereof for oneself. Rajas yajna would be karmas performed from an egoistic mind and for selfish interests. Tamas yajna would be karmas performed without any thought to their appropriateness and which are typically harmful to others in addition to bringing no benefit to oneself. What is that third pillar? It is penance. As creatures belonging to the physical world, we become impure due to the inputs received from the external world. So before we can get liberated as pure soul, these impurities need to be cleansed. That process of cleansing is penance. Penance is a tough regimen of behavior in a particular way, which is in God consciousness. It takes three forms: mental, bodily, and speech related. Pleasant state of mind, gentleness, silence, self-control, and purification of mind are regarded as mental penance. Bodily penance is remaining engaged in actions for bhakti, that is devotion, or service to Guru, as also in actions benevolent to all beings. Speech penance is speaking in a manner that does not hurt anyone, is truth and sweet sounding, and its effect is benevolent. Studying Vedas is speech penance too. Penance is of three kinds: sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. The penance performed by those people who do not harbor any desire for fruit and are always satiated is called sattvic penance. The penance performed with the objective of getting praise, honor, and worship, or that performed with pretense, is called rajasic penance, and it is unsteady and unstable. Penance performed in a crazy manner with unreasonable insistence by troubling one's body or with the objective of destroying someone else is called tamasic penance. Paths towards liberation. Focusing the mind constantly on the singular is the best means to attain liberation. However, if one cannot focus his mind all the time on the singular, he can try and take some time out every day for that. This kind of abhyas, that is repetitive practice, will in the course of time lead to liberation. If one cannot manage even that kind of practice, then one should live a normal life, but offer all his karmas to God. Finally, if none of the above is possible, then one should simply surrender the fruits of one's karmas to God. There are three major paths to liberation for ordinary seekers. Bhakti Marga, that is path of devotion. Karma Marga, that is path of engaging in worldly life without desiring any particular outcome of action. And Jnana Marga, which is constant contemplation on the singular God phenomenon, transcending limited physical identity. All these paths lead to the same goal, but a seeker has to choose one that suits him best. We will look at all these three paths in some detail the next time. I will stop here today and see you the next time. Until then, bye. Take care.